I'll be back in a minute. I just want to start the stream up. Um, I'll be back in like under a minute. All right, test one, test two, test three, test four. Please work, please work, please work. Yay. So for those watching after I'm live, which I know a lot of you did, for the last stream, um, it's gonna be posted on the channel, right below. Uh, if you scroll down my homepage, underneath my recent videos, featured channels, retro shorts, there'll be a playlist down there called recent live streams. This stream will be put into that playlist, so you can go back and watch the stream. So yeah. Although I'm assuming either A, you know that, or B, you're getting notification about it after I'm live, like when it's actually up on my channel, and you're coming in to watch that. So yeah. Depends what we're gonna be talking about with people coming in, and that's what this will be. Assuming people show up. And again, it's really up to learn how many people show up. So, but who knows? Might not be a lot. Might be one or two or three or four or five. Is it just me, or is Destro a boring villain? Well, he's not really a villain if you really think about it. I mean, he's trying to save the world, right? So I think it's, you know, I mean, he keeps saying he's going to kill Barry, and he really doesn't. He's come close to it, but he never has, right? Probably because Barry's gotten away. But I think they're trying to get the premise around the fact that he's not supposed to be a villain. Like, he's a hero in his own right. Like, you know what I mean? He's trying to save the world in the future. He thinks Barry's the cause behind it. And so he came back to try to save lives. You know, I think that's what I'm trying to say. And I don't think there's any bad writing with Despero. I think it's just, this is who the character is. And that's who they're trying to make it out to be. Which I don't think is a bad thing, necessarily. Because, I mean, Thawne is the villain of this crossover. Like, Thawne planned the whole thing. He planned for Despero to, you know, come back to 2021, attack Barry, kill him, blame him for Armageddon. He planned for all of it. So, Despero's not really the villain. And, yeah. I wouldn't, you know, I get why you would say he's not really a good villain. I don't think he's supposed to be. Episode 4 was 7 out of 10 for me. The side characters brought the episode down. Chester and Allegra stuff was boring as hell. It made no sense for it to be in this episode. If it was like 806, I would be fine with it. Fine, whatever. But with this being another timeline that would be erased at the end of the episode, it made zero sense for it to be in there. But one of the good things we got from that, if you really look at it as a whole, those side characters, those side scenes with the other characters, it's a good thing we got that, because look what they did. We still had Barry more on screen than the other characters. That's rarely happened on this show. And yeah, the scenes weren't great with Chester, Allegra, Ryan, Alex, and all them. But, I mean, the Iris scenes were amazing. I think we can all agree with that. Candace really did an amazing job in this episode. But Chill Lame, yeah, Chill Lame is, yeah, I don't know why they keep bringing Chill Lame back. He is so annoying. But the Iris scenes were hands down the best Iris scenes we've ever had on this show. And they seem to be getting better. But I think what we need to be looking at right now is what they're doing with these side characters, right? We're still getting Grant more on screen than Chester, than Allegra, than Chilblain and Alex, and even Iris. I mean, this was a big problem in the past couple of seasons, and they're fixing that. So while these scenes aren't great, we might not care for it. At least we're still getting Barry more than them. That's what they need to be focusing on instead of, oh, these scenes are crap, they shouldn't show it. It made sense for like Iris' scene to be in there, for Thawne's and Ryan Wilder's scenes to be in there. Chester Allegra made zero sense. Ryan's made zero sense. Alex and Chilblain just can go die in a hole. But, I think that's what we need to be looking at right now, is that they are learning from past seasons. They are learning from past mistakes, and that's what we need to be looking at right now. Do you think Barry will kill Thawne? I hope he does. I really want a younger version of Thawne, or at least a new version of Thawne. Barry's not going to kill Thawne. If Barry kills Thawne, it'll ruin the character. It will unironically ruin the character. Because I think Barry's come so close to killing Thawne several times over the past 8 years. And Barry himself has said if he kills Thawne, he's not going to be himself anymore. He's going to kill people. It's not going to be the Flash. It's going to be, literally, he's going to become the villain of his own show. And it would be his fault. You know what I mean? Like, this would be a completely different thing with Savitar or even Dark Flash or even Thawne. I mean, this would be a whole new thing that, it wouldn't really work out. So I don't think Barry will kill Thawne. I think Despero might. I think Despero might kill Thawne. If you watch the promo for 805, it does seem like Despero comes back to possibly kill Thawne for causing Armageddon. Maybe Barry lets them. Who knows? But if he does, I mean, that would mess up the timeline in a way. Possibly. Who knows? So, ironically, I didn't like the ending because River Slash is seemingly the big villain for Armageddon. I was under the impression that he would play second to Despero, but I guess that's not happening now. I liked that Thawne is the big bad of this crossover because Despero is not a villain, right? Like I said earlier, he's not a villain. He's trying to save the world. He saw his entire world get destroyed. He saw the Flash do it. He believed it was Barry. Despero went back to our time, the day Barry's supposed to be broken, and he did what he set out to do. He tried to kill the Flash and he failed. But Thawne managed to trick Despero the entire time. That's what he does. That's what Thawne's character does. Thawne literally manipulates every single person he comes into contact with. So I don't mind as a big villain. And honestly, I'm glad he is, because it makes this crossover 100 times better for me as a fan of the show and the viewer, just to see Thawne back, even though we've seen him like 100 times by now on the show. But, I mean, who else would it be, right? Who else would plan this out to the teeth? No one. No one on this show, no villain we've had in the past 8 years, has ever been able to plan this well out, unlike Thawne. If it wasn't Thawne, everyone would be like, why the hell isn't it Thawne? That would be the problem with it. Do you think something will happen to Barry at the end of the episode, and then we have to wait 3.5 months for episode 6? Well, if you don't already know, Barry's getting gold boots in 805. We are getting the gold boots for Barry, the new Flash suit, the gold boots, in 805. I don't know what they're going to do with Barry. They're going to close out Armageddon. Obviously, they're going to close it out. I think we're going to find out who the hell Thawne was talking to at the end of 804. And if that more than likely will be the next villain, whether it's Red Death or whoever. I think it's going to be Red Death. I think they're going to tease Red Death at the end of 805. I think they're going to close it out like a finale, which is what 804 basically was. It felt like a finale, but it wasn't. 805, I'm betting everything right now, it'll be like a finale. 805 will feel like a finale, where we know where every character is at before we go on a 3-month break, and, Barry will get his level of speed back, he'll get his new suit, It'll be the Barry we got in 801 with a new suit. I think that's what it'll be like. Black Flash returns and kills Reverse Slash, making it end of Tom's Reverse Slash, or Barry kills Thawne himself, because Barry still has residual negative Speed Force in his system. Barry didn't have the negative Speed Force really take over him. That whole time, Barry was Thawne, or the Reverse Flash. He never went rogue. Barry never turned bad at any point. He was still Barry. The only time he was acting bad, which was he was acting it around Darhk to trick him. That was it. He never turned bad. There was never a time where he did. Black Flash returning, I'm pretty sure Black Flash is dead on like 20 different timelines, so I don't think that'd be possible. I think the one thing that we can expect for Thawne, one of two things. Either A, Thawne's gonna die in this crossover, it'll be by Despero, not Barry. It'll be by Despero 100%. If Thawne's gonna die, it'll be by Despero. Or B, Barry manages to take away Thawne's speed permanently and puts him in a cell. Or, I guess the third option, Thawne gets away again. Which, honestly, is getting kind of old, but, you know, make him come back another storyline, I guess. I don't know. But either Thawne will die by Despero, or he'll get away, or Barry will keep him locked up. Who knows? Imagine Red Death comes out of nowhere after Barry defeats Thawne and Despero and just kidnaps him. That would be a cool cliffhanger. But having it for 3 months, I don't know. Because we've had Barry being kidnapped, and it'd be like, depending on the time gap, like, it just wouldn't add up. So I don't see that necessarily being the case with that whole thing. I honestly don't know how Mia's going to factor into part 5. I think because we know Mia is coming back to our time because something happened to a loved one in her timeline. Whether that is William or whoever, we don't know. But it obviously has something to do with Thawne, because if you watch the promo for 805, she's fighting Thawne. So it's going to be one of those things where they have to explain it really well to fit Mia in. I think they're going to do a good job, though, with Mia. I felt like they used the negative Speed Force as a plot device to explore alternate reality, being Armageddon. Notice how they don't even mention the negative Still Force in the episode. They did in 804. There was no reason for it to be mentioned in 805 at all, or 804. They mentioned 803, right, with Dion. But Iris didn't mention to Barry. Why would Barry bring it up? He doesn't know. There's no reason for Barry to know about negative Still Force. And, like, you know, like, Iris didn't mention XP Force once to Barry, so why would it be brought up? Thawne wouldn't bring it up. I mean, do we really know if it was Thawne that manipulated the XP Force? We don't. We think it's Thawne because it was negative, but do we really? I mean, yeah, you can mess with the timeline. Doesn't mean it was negative Still Force. I mean, it very well could have been Thawne using his Speed Force. Someone else could be tampering the negative Still Force. We don't entirely know that. But the negative Still Force thing not being brought up, and you're not the first one I've seen say that. I've seen several people say, why wasn't the negative Still Force brought up? Barry didn't know about it. If Barry knew about it, he probably would have brought it up, but no one told him about it. Iris didn't tell him. Dion didn't tell him. There's no reason for Barry to bring it up when it's going to be a thing that he wasn't even told about. So it wouldn't have made sense for Barry to bring him negative Still Force when he wasn't told about it. That's how I see it. And if he was told about it and I'm wrong, which I'm 90% sure he wasn't told about it, I mean, you know. So our main timeline Batwoman Sentinel not showing up, or is there still time in part 5? I have no idea. I have no idea who's going to be in 805. I just know Mia's going to be in 805 with Team Flash, and that's it. I don't know about Alex, Batwoman, or Ryan Choi. Ryan Choi, I would say 100% will be in some episode this season, because why would they make him a new suit? You know what I mean? They make him a whole new suit for like 2 minutes. No, he's coming back. Whether it's for this crossover or not, I don't know. Since Barry restored the timeline back to Zone 18 or somehow around there, is Barry faster than Thawne now? I would assume so. I don't see Barry not being faster because, as he said to Despero, He reconnected with the Speed Force. Iris, in the other timeline, when he was trying to time travel back to change it, he told Despero that Iris connected Barry to the Speed Force again, and he got his full speed back. So I would assume Barry's faster than Thawne, at least a little bit. You have to remember though, Thawne was faster than Barry. Even though, he was faster because Barry dampened his speed, Thawne could still be at the same level as Barry. It could very well be the case of Barry and Thawne have that thing going on again, like we did earlier in the show, but it fell off because, Barry powered up, leveled up, whatever. For like 6 seasons, Barry and Thawne, whenever Barry would go up speed, Thawne would. So it could very well be them being the same speed. We don't know. We have to find out in 805. If in the pre-Armageddon timeline, Barry supposedly died because Thawne went back in time and killed a younger version of him, making the one we see post-Armageddon a living paradox who is not supposed to exist and is soon to be deceased because time is catching up with him, how come the Black Flash did not return to kill Barry, restoring the post-Armageddon timeline? Because he's already dead. Thawne went back and killed young Barry. That timeline takes a while to set in. And Barry's in 2031. He's not in 2021. Like, let's say if Barry's sitting in 2021 throughout 4 episodes, right? Thawne went back and killed Barry as a child. If Barry stayed in that timeline, he would be dead already. Like, it would have caught up to him. Black Flash didn't come in because it's like when Barry made Flashpoint, right? Black Flash didn't come in and just kill anyone who was dead in a regular timeline. Cisco's brother was alive in another timeline before Flashpoint. Now he's dead. People died because of Flashpoint. People got powers because of Flashpoint. But, Reverse Flash, or Black Flash, not Reverse Flash, Black Flash didn't just come in and kill everyone who was supposed to be dead. They all died by natural causes because of Flashpoint. Like, this wasn't, if they brought Black Flash in and was like, Barry's breaking the timeline, even though he's really not. Like, if Black Flash killed Barry, it would ruin the timeline 100 times more. Like, it would just ruin it. Yeah, Black Flash, I'm 90% sure is dead. Because he did die in 323. I don't think they've brought him back. So, but let's assume in post-Crisis, if he is alive, because we don't really know. Like, they haven't mentioned it at all. But if he is alive, well, Savitar said in 323 that the only thing that can stop Black Flash is Frost by freezing him, and then he broke in a billion pieces. But let's assume he is alive post-Crisis. Even if he was, killing Barry when he's already gonna die, what's the point of that? What's the point of that? There is none. So, bringing Black Flash in just to kill Barry when he's already gonna die in like 6 hours, Thawne wouldn't put up with that. Thawne would fight Black Flash again. And let alone, Thawne wouldn't want Black Flash there. We learned that in Legends. Black Flash hates Reverse Flash. So it wouldn't add up at all for the storyline, and it would make zero sense for him to be there. And again, he did die in 323. We saw him be shattered into a billion pieces, so I don't think... I mean, he is the embodiment of death. It doesn't mean he can't die. I mean, he has death in his name. I think it's fair to say he can die. It's like Superman can't die. Like, he can't. He has his weakness. Black Flash has his weakness. Just because he's working with a god doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be invincible 24/7. I would like to see Joe in 805, but I don't necessarily know if he will. I would be really surprised if he didn't show up, but, I would assume that he would. That or Mia gives him the gold boots, you know? I mean, it's going to be one of those things where either Barry makes them himself, but why would he make it? You know what I mean? Why would Barry just give himself gold boots when he could have done it like 10 episodes ago? I mean, it makes no sense for him to do it. So either Mia gives him it, or Mia gives him the idea of it, or maybe the Reverse Flash suit does. You know, maybe he'll make a joke about how now we're actually the actual reverse of the suits, you know, something along those lines. I mean, because the new Reverse Flash suit has the gold boots, you know, or the red boots, I mean. So maybe that's where Barry gets the idea for it. Seeing Thawne's suit gave him, well, maybe I should switch up boots. So he switches up boots. It'd be a funny idea, though, just to hear Barry say something along the lines of, now our suits are actually the opposite instead of, like, a little bit of a difference. Does it make you cringe when they use the power of love, the solution in getting Barry's speed? No, I actually liked it. The last season, I feel like they abused it way too much. Or season 6? Yeah, season 6. I feel like they used that way too much. Season 7 was all about that, and I didn't care for it at all. But this one time with Barry and Iris, and them using their connection to get Barry's full speed back, for me, I loved it, and it made sense to me. Other times, Barry, whatever. In season 7, I mean, when he got his speed back twice, it was just really ridiculous with the power of love crap. But I feel like this time, I didn't have a problem with it at all. It really made sense to me. I want to bring up the Lady in Red that Ryan Wilder brought up in 804. Nora and Bart are back in 2049 or wherever timeline they came from. But the Lady in Red that Ryan Wilder brought up, everyone's saying that it's someone from the comics. That there's a Peggy Allen in the comics, DC Comics, that is called Lady in Red. But the problem is, Ryan Wilder says that she is supposedly a speedster. So why would that... It makes no sense for it to be that random person in the comics to show up on the show now. So I think it's 100% Red Death. And I think what we're gonna get is a lady version of Red Death, which I wouldn't mind, honestly. They probably will do an amazing job with it. Maybe it'll be Kate Kane. I wouldn't mind seeing that, honestly. Like an evil version of Kate Kane becoming Red Death. I mean, that'd be pretty cool to see. But whoever it is, it'd be pretty cool to see just Red Death, whoever it is, whether it is that Lady in Red, interacting with Barry, our Barry. So I think it will be a Lady Red Death, and I think the Lady in Red is in fact Red Death. So I think we just have to wait. It'll probably be this season. I think we all know it'll be. So Hey, DC World Reviews, thanks for coming in. I already answered Norm Bar question, right? I think so. They're back in their timeline. I think Barry mentioned that in 801. At the beginning of 801, saying that Bart and Nora come back every now and then, but they're mainly in their timeline. I think that was brought up before Ray came in 801. Like, actually came to Barry and Iris' loft to stay there. I think Barry brought it up then. 90% sure. But yeah, I'm very curious to see if Thawne is talking to Red Death. When Red Death was named Captain 512, it was nothing but confirmation that it exists in the Arrowverse. That's it. We'll never see Earth 52 or Bruce Wayne suit up, and let's be honest, do you really want the same writers who wrote a storyline for godlike beings who were evil, but were created out of love and called Barry and Dad and Iris' mom? No concept, good, execution will fail. Not necessarily. That was in the future, right? This is a possible second time we've gotten Red Death teased. Red Death is a big villain. Like, he is more dangerous than Thawne, okay? Red Death is way more dangerous than Thawne. I'm telling you that right now. The writers, if you actually watch the past 4 episodes, they've been doing really well with Barry, his new speed, his power, him doing on his own. I mean, sure, he goes to some people, but it's only when he needs it now. Red Death would be the perfect villain to bring in right now, with the writers doing an amazing job so far, and them managing to make Barry the Flash, and not, oh, I'm so slow, I can't handle this. Red Death would be an amazing test of power to Barry, and it would really work. He's not dead post-Crisis. They wouldn't ruin that future. And he was just name dropped, or she. It could be a she, as I just said, Lady in Red. Who the hell is Lady in Red? In a speedster, that's gotta be Red Death, and it's gotta be a she now, not a he. If they ever give Iris speed powers back, 718, I didn't mind it because I feel like it made sense. But the scenes with Iris being a speedster were not great. They could have done more action scenes with Iris being a speedster. But if they do, I would be really surprised if they do. It would have to be like a end of the days situation, like with Godspeed, where Iris gets her speed back. Otherwise, it'll just be a quote-unquote spark of Speed Force in her, like with how she connected to Barry to give him his Speed Force back. That's what it'll be like. Well, we know she has Speed Force in her. She just can't, like, access, like, Barry's full speed. Like, she can't run as fast as Barry. My favorite episode of The Flash before Season 8 was 415 Flash Time. I love that episode. But now it's hands down 802. And 801, I swear to God, is a close second. I don't judge seasons on premieres because I feel like the second episode defies a season. So I'm not going to put 801 above 802 or, 415, but it's top 3. It's, top 3 of those. But, yeah. Definitely 802 because it had the best writing this show's ever seen. 801, 803, even 804 all had the best writing this show's ever had. And something tells me this season is going to have a lot of that, so. Which again, Red Death, I think would be a perfect villain to bring in now. That they're doing good with the writing, and not, I guess, second guessing themselves and everything they do, which is probably what they did. But again, going back to Iris, like, we know she has speed in Iris. It just, she can't run as fast as Barry. Like, she can't use the Speed Force to make her go fast. But that's why she got Speed 718. 415 was Flash Time. It's literally titled Flash Time. I think it's 415. That's 416. Yeah, 415. Enter Flash Time. That's my favorite episode. I mean, there were other good episodes in other seasons, but 415 is the one I can remember. But especially season 8, I would say 802 is better than 415, but, There were parts of Savitar that I didn't like, but I feel like the overall idea of it was amazing. It being evil Barry was amazing. Like him being, we finally saw a Barry that's broken to the core. I'm glad we got that. But I do think they could have revealed him a little bit sooner, which is why I'm glad in season 5 or 6, whatever, they brought in, like, 2 storylines for one season instead of just 20 episodes for one villain. Like, if they did that with Savitar, it would have been amazing to see that. But obviously they didn't. But do you think Wally will ever return with a new suit? Yeah. I don't see him not returning with a new suit. I think they'll give him a new 52 suit. With the gray and the red belt and, the red earpieces and all that, like Barry's. I think it'll be like that. Let's get an idea for a future crossover down the line. Speed Force War? Or, God, what is it called? Fly? No, that's not it. something I don't remember the exact name of it in the comics, but it's basically like every speedster comes in and they're all fighting, pretty much. Like all the hero speedsters fighting every single villain speedster, Red Death, Thon, Zoom, all of them. It'll be so cool to see Barry, Jay, even Iris suit up again. Wally could come back. I mean, Jessie, if she's still alive, if she does come back, it would be amazing to see. Yeah, Speed Force War. Yeah, Speed Force War. I think that's it. I'm pretty sure that's it. Something along those lines. Did not like the musical episode? Yes, it was one of my favorite episodes that season. I think it was Speed Force War, something along those lines. I feel like Flash's 100th was 100 times better than Legends 100th was horrible. I'm saying it right now. Legends 100th was absolutely dog crap, and I hate that they did it. Legends should have ended in season 3. How they made it this far, CW's a bunch of crap. I think Flash's was the best, Arrow's second best, and Supergirl's third best. So possibly Superman would appear in that. We're gonna get a crossover with Flash and Superman and Lois. That's gonna be a done and done thing. I'd be really surprised if we don't get one soon. Are there still other universes in the Arrowverse, or did Crisis destroy them all? Yes, there's other Earths in the multiverse now. We saw that at the end of Crisis. And we know that because of Stargirl. Again, Stargirl 209. Jay crossed over. How could he cross over? There's no multiverse. I mean, even though it's a flashback, you can't, they're still on the same freaking Earth. They're on Earth 2. Stargirl's on Earth 2. Post-Crisis. This isn't pre-Crisis timeline. It wouldn't make sense. It's post-Crisis. Stargirl's on Earth 2. So, yeah, it's just a multiverse. Just Earth Prime people don't know it yet. Because they haven't found the right frequency to do it. And they probably gave up on doing it because they're like, what's the point? They think the multiverse is dead. So, which I think we can all, again, agree that there will be an actual crossover between Stargirl and Flash and Superman and Lois. But that's going to happen eventually. They could do Flash War, which is what I thought it was called at first, but I didn't say it. Where Iris, Barry, Wally, and in the comics, there's two Wallys, Wally and Wallace. I think one's red hair and one's like the Wally we see on the TV show. And they're people trying to arrest Iris for killing Thawne. And it's a whole out war between like Barry, Wally, Zoom, and Iris and Thon. They're heroes fighting villains. I wouldn't mind if they do that. And they brought in Captain Cold for this, so it'd be good to see him. It'd be placed in the 25th century, which would be 20 what something whatever. It'd be cool to see that. The one thing Black Flash can't fight Cold, the dumbest line in the entire show. I don't think it was dumb. I mean, look at all these characters, all the species in the show. All of them have a weakness, right? Black Flash is cold. That's pretty damn good for, him, I think. Because not every person in this universe has powers that produce cold, right? So, could Darkseid ever appear in the Arrowverse, or is that too on the cinematic side? I mean, we're getting Despero. We got King Shark, we got Grodd. I mean, hell, we've gotten Stavatar. All of them had CGI in them. So I don't think Darkseid is way too over CGI for this show. But I think if they really want to do Dark Side, it would have to be in a movie, just to make it as good as it possibly can be. Like if they even if they cross over with DCU, if they manage to bring in Darkseid, and we get like Grant, Melissa, or Tyler, or even Stephen Amell in it, or all four of them, or five, however many I said, in that one movie, just to like cross them over, I wouldn't mind it. But I think it would have to be in a movie, and not like a six-parter, which it would have to be a six-parter. Flash Barry's weakness is Iris. Everybody knows that. Well, I think his weakness is that, he doesn't kill. I mean, look at Thawne, look at Zoom, Savitar, Godspeed, they all killed. Barry didn't kill. He doesn't kill. And that makes a weakness for him in a way, because they know he wouldn't. And because he's connected to so many people, which isn't his fault at all, it really, that adds more weakness to him. But he's still a good hero. I mean, he does save people more than a majority of the people on his team does, so. But I think the thing that we all need to be looking at right now is that what's going to happen now, right? Because obviously Armageddon didn't happen, right? Or at least, the idea of it didn't, right? Because Barry has his job. He still has Star Labs. Gideon is still alive, I'm assuming. So Team Flash doesn't know about it. But for the rest of season 8, Armageddon and the Godspeed War are going to be combined into one. Like those impacts from the Godspeed War and the impact from Armageddon will be taking a toll on Barry throughout the rest of the season. Eric Wallace told us that. So how could that even be a thing? It's kind of annoying when Barry just tells Villian he's a Flash. I don't mind it. This time it made sense. Like, he told Despero because he wanted to prove that he's not going to turn evil. It made sense. How many episodes do you expect the final season of The Flash to have? 18. They're sticking with this 18-episode thing, and I like it as long as they do well with the other storylines. It ended up being 18. I don't see them not doing 18. There, they cut it down to 10, like Arrow, to just do one story arc, which would be more than likely Reverse Flash to end out Barry. But, I would expect 10 to 18. 10 at least, 18 max. Because one of those episodes would be a backdoor pilot for Flash. There's no way we could never get a backdoor pilot. If CW was smart, right? Flash is 1,000% going to have a backdoor pilot for some show. I think we all know that. Whether it's a Wally West show or a Nora and Bart show, which I honestly wouldn't mind watching, there's going to be some spin-off to The Flash. Whatever it is, we don't know. But no matter what it is, if CW doesn't pass it on, The Flash is like keeping the CW up right now. I don't think a lot of people realize that. Like The Flash is the best show the CW's had in the past 8 years. Arrow was carrying it for a while, and then Flash came in, triumphed Arrow, and then Flash just kept carrying the whole thing. I mean, if they don't pass a show along for a backdoor pilot for Flash, it would not necessarily do great. Do you feel season 8 will be like season 6 and 7, where the first half is great, but back half just declines? The first half of season 7 was not great. It was crap. If you thought the first half of season 7 was great, I don't know what you watched, but can you send me it? The first half of season 7 was just horrible. The back half of season 7 was better than the first half. First half of 6 was amazing, but it had bad episodes. I think the back half of 8 will be really, really good. I believe that because of the people showing up. Imagine they do a Frost and Chilblain spinoff. They wouldn't. Eric Wallace knows how we feel about Chilblain, and he would never do that. They might name drop him a couple times from that spinoff, but no. they know what we want for a spinoff, and it is nowhere near Frost or Chilblain or whatever. It would never come to that. Eric Waltz knows that everyone wants the Flash spinoff to either be Wally or um, Bart and Nora. You know what I mean? Like, we want it to be something along those lines. If it was Bart and Nora, probably get Mia in it. I wouldn't mind it. I'd love seeing Mia and Bart and Nora on the same screen. Because we need to see if they know each other. I mean, come on. How could you tell me that Nora, Bart, and Mia don't know each other in 2049? You know what I mean? Mia's the Green Arrow. Bart is, I mean, Impulse, but, the new Flash. Well, he was supposed to appear in 718, but the actor, because of COVID, couldn't come in. So they want him back, but he just couldn't make the time for it. So I think it's, he'll come back at one point. I think once COVID blows over and we're past this hellhole, probably for another 2 years, and once we're officially past COVID, they'll bring him back. I think I'm telling you what right now, I'm calling it right now. Season 10, alright? Let's say they show me season 10, I'm assuming it would. Assuming COVID is done by then, they're going to throw a massive event for this show and bring Wally, Jay, Bart, Nora, Thawne probably if he's still alive, Barry, give Iris her speed back, bring all these people back, bring Cisco back. They're going to bring all these people back just to celebrate that COVID's done and also do a massive 5-part event or even 6-part. I would love to see Wally come back for a massive event. We need that. And I think they know that, but they're waiting for COVID to blow over. So he'll come back. It's just when and where we don't know. And it's mainly because of COVID. I think one of the interludes is going to be centered around Allegra and Chester, probably. I think because we know they're filming The Flash 809 or 810 right now. And Grant appears to be in all of them. So I wouldn't, this isn't going to be like last season where Barry's not in one of them. Even though I kind of wish he was not in one of them. Because I think one of the episodes where he wasn't in was really good for season 7. Just to give us a break from Barry and focus on Team Flash for once. But, And I don't mind the Allegra and Chester stuff. But I felt like in 804, it was just so out of place. Because it's like, why are you bringing this in now? Like, we aren't going to be getting this stuff. In 806, we're going to be in 2022. We aren't going to be in 2021. We're going to be in another whole year. That 2021 crap made zero sense for them to bring up when it's an alternate timeline, and it's not going to happen in 2021. If anything, it'll happen in 2022, and it just, maybe the same story arc, but even then, it's like, why bring it up? There's no point to bring it up when it's just going to be erased. They haven't had the Christmas episodes in season 5. Yeah. I don't remember season, oh yeah, with Nora. But, I mean, what's the point of it? I think they're trying to get the point out that Barry's normally stopping a villain around this time of year. Because he is. Like, I'm looking at season 6. He was stopping Bloodwork around this time of year. He's fighting Thawne now around this time of year. He's doing with Armageddon. Last year was the Forces. I think they're trying to get the idea around that they celebrate Christmas off screen, or Barry's just too busy saving the world. I think it's one of those things. Like with Arrow and Oliver's birthday, right? They brought that into, season 5 or 6? I mean, they didn't celebrate Oliver's birthday because around the time of year, and season 5 with Chase, when Chase is in prison in 522. They celebrate Oliver's birthday for the first time in 10 years because they would always be saving the world around that time of year. And with them doing this 2 villains a season thing, do you really think Barry would take a break for a day to be with family rather than let the world be destroyed? He would save the world in a heartbeat. No, I think the point they're trying to get around is that Barry saves the world around this time of year. That's what they're trying to get at. Chester's and Allegra's feelings were hinted at several times throughout season 7. They were flirting with each other and all that. Allegra literally said in the episode they were. It's just whether you really, really paid attention to it. Then, it wasn't super obvious. But if you really did pay attention to it, you could tell. What's your favorite episode? Season 2? 209, I think, where we first get Zoom, and Zoom breaks Barry's back. I think it was 209. I love that episode. But yeah, throughout season 7, it was really hinted at. I think like every episode in season 7, it was really hinted at. And then season 8, a little bit here and there, but really 804, it shined a bright light on itself. I think season... It's hard to say which one I like better, season 6 or 7, because season 7 brought us some very good things, like Barry's new speed, which we wouldn't have gotten if it wasn't for season 7, right? I mean, look at the Force storyline. It was crap, but the one good thing we got out of it was Barry being faster. We got Barry finally kicking Thawne's butt for once. I mean, that's the first time it's ever happened. And, I mean, sure, he got away because Barry let him, but the point was, he was faster than Thawne. He probably is now. And I mean, at the same time, Cisco's episode was crap. Force storyline was crap. The premiere 702 were amazing. 703 was not good. Season 6, first half was okay. Back half was terrible. Crisis was terrible. Season 7, better than season 6. Just because both are not equally good, but they had good episodes in them, but season 7 had better episodes than season 6. I feel like there was like one episode in the Force storyline that was good. The Godspeed arc, I loved it, but it could have been better. But seeing Barry get faster from season 7, I feel like that's why I like it more than season 6. For me, as a viewer, I feel like that way. Earth X, 100%. Elseworlds was great. I love seeing Oliver as the Flash and Barry as the Green Arrow. I love that they brought Supergirl into it, and that they were hyping up Crisis, but, you know, Crisis and Earth X is the best crossover next to Armageddon. It goes Armageddon, Crisis and Earth X, Elseworlds, Crisis and Infinite Earths only because people in it, and Flash vs. Arrow and an Invasion. And then the duet, obviously. But, yeah, I feel that's my list from best to worst. Mine was 15 to 16 too, but I loved 17 to 18 because it was a two-parter finale, and I loved that about the show. I think it's fair to say the Monitor is still alive because if he wasn't, Felicity wouldn't be able to go see Oliver in 810, which we know she does. If you watch 810 again, post-Crisis, which is post-Crisis 810 of Arrow, the finale, we see the Monitor bring Felicity to Oliver in the afterlife. So the Monitor's alive. He's just not like kicking around in Earth Prime and all that. He's probably off, you know, being a godlike being somewhere else. I mean, who the hell knows? But, you know, I feel like if there was going to be another like death-defying event where the whole universe is at stake, he'll come back. But, you know, there's no reason for him to bring it back right now. You're saying which episode I think, like, which episode season 2 was in the best in the Arrowverse? Like, what episode from each show of season 2 was the best? Or, like, one show of second season was the best? Like, are you asking, like, which season 2 I think was better than the others? Which season 2 was the best in the Arrowverse, I'm assuming? Arrow. I love Slade Wilson, and he was an amazing villain in season 2. I love season Flash, there it is, season 2 of The Flash, but Arrow is always number 1 in that. What dead character would you want to come back, even for one episode or flashback? Henry Allen. Just to see him interacting with R. Barry. I want to see R. Barry go back in time. Even if it's a flashback, I don't care. I just want to see Barry interacting with Henry Allen for a scene we've never seen before. That would be amazing to see. Eddie Thawne, obviously, he's coming back in 806. So, that's not really... I mean, I want to see him come back, but we know he's coming back, so... but just for a flashback. But definitely Henry Allen. I think we need more Henry Allen on this show, because we didn't get much of him. So it'd be nice just to see either a flashback or our Barry go back in time to see Henry Allen, just to see him interacting with that. I think it'd be a very good episode. Just from that like couple scenes that happens, probably I think it'd be great to see. You know, so we might get that in 806. We might see Henry Allen in 806 because remember this is a well, this isn't a flashback. This is a time travel episode where Nora and Bart screw up and go back to 2013 or whatever. Where I think they're saying Barry's in a coma. So I think we know Barry's coming back to that timeline. So who knows? Maybe we'll see Barry interacting with Eddie and Henry Allen. Because we know John Lasseter's in the episode, who plays Jay Garrick and Henry Allen. So I guess it really just depends, are we going to see that or not? I wouldn't mind seeing it, but, guess we'll find out. Is Red Death confirmed this season? Because if he actually is, season 8 is going to be one of the best seasons of The Flash, if they really do a good job with Red Death. He's not officially confirmed, but he's been teased several times lately, so I'd be really surprised if he wasn't. We don't know if Diggle's going to appear in this season or not. I would be really surprised if he doesn't. I feel like if he was going to, it would have to be the case of something happening to bring him back, obviously, like with Godspeed. But, yeah. But no, Red Death is not confirmed. But he's been teased several times, and it seems like season 8 will be the season we do. Because Eric Wallace gave a discussion, I've already done a full video over this, where Eric Wallace talked about the new villain for season 8 after Armageddon. It fits the description of Red Death. It really does. So, it seems like he's coming. It could be something entirely different, but we're like 90% sure it's Red Death. So. But I do think that Lady in Red, though, was Red Death. Or is Red Death, at least. So, I do think we're going to see her show up. If you could be a speedster for a day, what would you do? Run really fast. I would run to, like, every place I've ever wanted to go in my life, which is, like, just everywhere. I would unironically, like, I'm assuming I'd be fast as Barry, right? Like, running faster than the speed of light. I would want to just travel the whole world, and, like, just, like, in flash time for, like, a millisecond, just do all that, just run around the entire world, like, look at every possible thing I possibly could, and then just, like, come home and just, like, run around like hell crazy. Like, I just want to do that. I just want to see what it's like running at super speed. And then maybe time travel. I'll pull a Barry. I'll make a flashpoint with that one day of speed, and I'll just be screwed, and I'll be stuck in a flashpoint. Yeah. Pull a Barry. It's true though. We all know that Barry would do that. So. I think we all know that. And if we don't like him doing it, we all know he would. Alright, guys, I'm going to end the stream here. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. I think I have a video coming out Sunday night. If I plan on recording it then, who knows. But, yeah, it'll be out before 8:05, I'm assuming. But, yeah, that should be my next video. So I'll see you guys then. Have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe. And, yeah, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. And, see you guys next time. Bye, guys.